Ready? I call to order the regular board meeting for GCC, May the 24th, 2022, a little past 1:30 p.m. And I apologize to everyone for the delay. As usual, having trouble. So I will do roll call at this point. Mr. Mark Anderson.
Here.
Mr. Harry Block.
Here.
Mr. Bruce Mandrek, absent this meeting. Mr. Jack Turner.
Present.
And Lily Campbell, present. 4 board members present. And now we will approve the SB 361 board resolution, which is a kind of common thing at this time. And it's simply stated we're following the Brown Act as we have our meetings virtually. So I will entertain a motion for approval of SB 361 board resolution.
So moved. Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anderson. Moved, second by Mr. Turner, that we approve the board resolution. Roll call, Mark Anderson.
Yes.
Harry Block.
Yes.
Jack Turner.
Yes.
Lily Campbell. Absent Bruce Mandrek. And now we will move to item 3, public comments. Do we have public comments for today, Mr. Sample?
Unfortunately, we have no members of the public who are planning to speak.
We do not.
We do not.
We do not.
Thank you very much. And now we will move to the superintendent's update. And again, let me thank all of you for being here. All of those who are with us for the school reports, we are anxiously looking forward to that. And to those of you who are watching us virtually, thank you for being with us today, and the board members and cabinet who are here with us. So with that, we will move to the superintendent's update. Dr. Peterson.
Thank you, Madam President. So the superintendent's update for today, there's a lot going on. We are in the last calendar week for students, and it is all hands on deck all the time this week. So we have had numerous kindergarten promotions already, and we have some 8th grade promotions that have occurred, and there'll be more of that all the way up until Friday. So it's a great day to celebrate, great week to celebrate, all kinds of amazing things happening, a lot of people happy to be able to celebrate in person once again. Last week on Friday, we gathered with over 600 of our staff members for the first time for our end of year event in 2 years. Really want to thank the board for your video, for giving some thoughtful comments to, and they were well received by all of staff. So we also want to inform you that on Friday, Flip Flippin gave us a call and let us know that we are now a National Showcase District for the 3rd time. So yeah, quite an honor. Only 11 districts in all of the United States are National Showcase Districts. Last week was Classified Employee Recognition Week, which you know was preceded 2 weeks prior with the Certificated Employee Recognition Week. But last week we celebrated and honored all of our amazing classified staff members and had a great event here in the central office as well. Earlier this week, we had our epic annual site visit with our authorizer, Yolo County. We were quite honored to have the county superintendent, Garth, was out with us, as well as Micah Studer and others. And so we had a great visit, very positive, and really want to give a shout out to Dr. Jerry Caution's staff for doing a great job with that. Also, this last week, I was able to have my annual visit to the Slavic radio program and talk to our Slavic community. Particularly of interest was some discussion around how we can partner to serve our Ukrainian immigrant population. So more updates on that will follow, I'm sure. As you may be aware, if you're reading the news or listening to anything, we have quite an uptick in positive COVID in the counties. We are not at any new safety protocols or any new changes in that status, but certainly everybody is watching the increase in COVID case very carefully to see how that's going to impact our world. I want to also say that I continue to, as others in the cabinet do, take part in such things as our AXA meetings and superintendent's council meetings and member council meetings and county updates. Many of these things have to do with COVID-19 and some have to do with the governor's budget. Governors may revise. Governor has released his thoughts on the May revise. As many of you know, that does not mean that that's our budget. That's his thoughts on the May revise. That's his proposal. And so I have been attending, cabinet members have been attending. We have attended CSDC's May revise presentation, school services, Sacramento County Office of Ed hosted one, and a few others in between to just kind of get a sense. As many of you may have been hearing, our economy is in a positive space. It is just there's a lot of uncertainty due to inflation rate, supply chain issues, and some other very volatile things. So we are continuing to monitor. We want to tell you that we got a lot of good response to the board's approval of the additional 1% on the salary schedule, and want to affirm the board for proactively taking that step with us. We will continue to monitor and update you when the trailer bill language becomes available and the final budget is approved. We don't believe that it will be a matter of huge changes. Honestly, what they're arguing over now is where to spend the money that is in excess of what they thought they had in January. Also want to remind you that last week we had a wonderful celebration with AXA Region 3 Administrator of the Year Awards. And we want to once again give a shout out to Laura Berrigan, who was honored as the region's HR Administrator of the Year. Summer Ash and Ashley Madden were also honored as Administrators of the Year for CTE and educational options. And it was wonderful to be together with those of you that were able to come and recognize their many accomplishments. This last week, we also had our final session of Crucial Conversations. That was the second cohort of this year, the 25th or 26th. I have no idea. It's somewhere in there. And I want to give a congratulations to Adrian Peer, Ali Wilson, Vicente Luavano, Sean Dean, Chelsea Newman, and Danny Williams, who all survived all 10 weeks of Crucial Conversations. And Vicente's here today, so he is obviously still standing. So a lot of great things going on in the GCC, and every day these wonderful administrators you see on the screen are making you proud, board. So it's an honor to be representing them today.
Thank you very much. Board members, any comments, any questions for our superintendent? Seeing none, hearing none. Thank you so much for your hard work. I express my regrets all the time that we are not able to be there with you and to enjoy the many things that are going on and to see all of the good stuff that's happening. But we do appreciate you. We want you to know that the board members, we know that without you, none of this could be possible. The things that our superintendent has talked about today and what's going on with GCC. So for that, we are very grateful to you and very thankful. So thank each of you. And so, hearing no other comments from board members, we will continue on with our study session. In our first study session, I want to welcome the Higher Learning Academy, HLA, and the staff that's here for that. And we are so proud to see you, Dr. Morrison, and all of the rest of you. Thank you for being here. So with that, I will turn it over.
Yes, and I will also add, it is a great honor and pleasure today to, while you may be experiencing it as an HLA and a futures presentation, Dr. Marston is going to make clear to you that really you're getting a Rancho del Paso update today, because we're rebranding our campus as a K-12 experience, not two separate schools. And I really want to affirm all of the people that you have on today who are going to talk to you. Dr. Marston, of course, for her incredible leadership at the helm as director, but also all four of our other administrators that you see on your cameras today, who have stepped up to the challenge and are continuing to provide excellent service for our students. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Marston.
Thank you very much. And I want to make sure it is vocalized that Dr. Peterson got the AXA Women Leader of the Year award, and we are so proud of her. And I just want to applaud her.
We didn't
thank
know
her.
that either. Thank you for sharing that with us. We
I
had
know
not heard that.
She is so humble. So I just want to make sure that we award and recognize her for all of her work. And she is definitely one of my multipliers. So thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. And we wish we could be here with you all in person. We love you all so much and want to thank you for everything that you do for our school sites. It really, truly is your leadership and the work that you do that helps us do our job so well. And we want to thank you and affirm you for believing in us, for the work that we do. So we have Mr. Coonan, who is now our campus principal, and Mr. Munch, who is the vice principal of Higher Learning Academy. And we're very excited for their leadership. And then we have over at the Futures, Mr. Lovano. I've learned you do not pronounce it Lovano. It's Luevano. So Mr. Luevano, and I kind of said it right. Well, he'll correct me, and I'm still working on it. And Crystal Buddha as the vice principal. So we're really excited for their leadership. They've been doing wonderful work, loved by all staff, students, families. So with that, I'm actually going to turn the mic over to Mr. Coonan and Mr. Munch to take it away for Higher Learning Academy.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Marston. Thank you, Dr. Peterson and the GCC cabinet. President Campbell, very excited to see you and present to you today. Mr. Turner, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Block, so good to see you all as well. It's an honor to be here and be able to talk to you today. All right, so let's talk about what's been going on at Higher Learning Academy. We are going to follow this format today, this agenda, which is probably familiar to you at this point, following some of our CKH norms and starting with good things, going into student achievement, curriculum, equity, inclusion, and diversity, parent and community, SEL, impact, and of course, we'll talk about what's next as well. All right, so we've got to start with good things. What is good here at HLA? So many good things going on here at HLA. Our enrollment is going to be growing. As you know, this was our first year with 3 first grade classrooms. Next year, we will be expanding to have 3 second grade classrooms, as well as a TK class on top of our already existing 3 kindergarten classes. So very excited to continue to grow into our Rancho Del Paso campus here. We are a CKH National Showcase School, as was already mentioned at the district level, but of course we're very proud to have that honor here at the school level for the 3rd time in a row. And then our collaboration as far as becoming one unified Rancho Del Paso campus here. We are so excited for the opportunity to collaborate with Futures more than we ever have in the past. You can see pictures here of some of our staff members passing out food boxes. We've been partnering with a food bank nearby here and been giving out fresh food to our families every Friday. And that lower picture is our book fair, which raises a lot of money. And of course, the kids get super excited about every year. Okay, so here's our focus. I think, again, you're familiar with this, board members, from the work of Michael Fullen. We're going to be talking about academics, SEL, and equity, and where those things meet to create the greatest impact for our students. All right, so starting with student achievement. We're going to look at some iReady data. We are very pleased with our full implementation of iReady this year. It's been a great tool for us to measure student learning and growth. You can see going from the lower bar of diagnostic 1, that's beginning of the year, to diagnostic 2 above. You can see in every grade band here, we're moving in the right direction. So there's definitely no doubt that we've got a long road ahead of us in terms of making up for the learning loss suffered during COVID. But already, just in the first few months on campus this year, we saw really significant growth. So, those lower levels shrinking and those higher achieving levels growing throughout the year. That is our reading achievement in iReady there. And this is our math achievement. Again, similar pattern here. where we have a long ways to go, but we are definitely moving in the right direction. Looking beyond iReady, I also want to just mention that we were able to reclassify 6 English learners this year as English proficient. So we are making sure to that we're serving all of our subgroups, all of our populations here at HLA with excellence. All right, and from there, we're going to move on to curriculum and coherence, and I'm going to pass it to our Vice Principal, Mr. Mudge.
All right, thank you. And hi, President Campbell, the rest of the board and everybody else. It's nice to see your 1 square inch faces. Hopefully next year we get to do this in person. And thank you for having us. And let's jump right into curriculum. So this year, can you give me a switch, please? This year, we piloted 2 science curriculums, Inspire and Amplify. We had, I believe, 7 teachers run a solid unit of each, after which we polled both the teachers and the students to see, what was the most enjoyable unit? What did you feel you learned the most? What pushed you the most? And just a week ago, we finally decided we are going with Amplify. So we are going to have a full NGSS inquiry-based, super fun, I think, science curriculum for our K through 5. We're going to be adopting Amplify, which means we're going to get a whole bunch of boxes of science stuff to do experiments with, and I am stoked. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Coonan.
Thank you. And we want to affirm Ashley Cow at the GCC for all of her support with curriculum adoption, Williams Act compliance, all those things that go along with curriculum in the background. All right, so here you can see our instructional framework. We actually started a lot of this work during the pandemic completely remotely, but this is something that still drives our work. This was co-created with our entire staff and is a good encapsulation of what we do here at HLA. We want to affirm Lyle Kurtman and Wendy York for their guidance with a lot of this work that we do. And I also wanted to mention Dr. Gold when talking about iReady. She has been really a great support for our assessments and our academics all around. I also wanted to kind of point to the lower left here. We had this tiered graphic here on our instructional framework from the get-go, but with the GCC-wide grant for MTSS work, or I guess what we're calling SOS, we're going to have more experience and more knowledge and expertise over a multi-tiered system of support than ever. So we're really looking forward to growing into that area. All right. And of course, as you know, we are an IB school first and foremost. So we have made some great strides in our IB work this year. We just recently, about 3 weeks ago, had our consultant visit us virtually. She is actually, as you know, the IB is a very international organization. She's actually based in Toronto. So she, per regulations, she wasn't able to come and visit us in person, but she did visit us virtually, spoke with all of our teachers, got to see at the, at the PYP level. So all of our elementary teachers, got to talk to all of our teacher teams, got to talk with some of our parents, got to talk with a lot of our students. And she left with just glowing reviews and also some good next steps for us to get ready for our authorization visit next school year. And I want to really affirm in terms of that IB work, Gurpreet Kaur, our curriculum coach and PYP coordinator. She is out on maternity leave currently. She had a healthy baby boy just about 6 weeks ago. So we're very happy for her. And then, of course, Joy Takoy, Director of IB at the GCC level. Her guidance and expertise has been invaluable for us here at HLA. So we want to thank her as well. All right, and I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Mudge.
All right, thank you. So most of us have been with HLA for a while. We know that diversity, equity, and inclusion are big cornerstones, big heavy hitters that we want to do very well here at HLA. And this year we had two primary goals that we wanted to work on. The first was a focus on our suspension. We wanted to continue to get our suspension numbers lower and lower and lower, keeping kids in the class, showing them all the love and support that they need to thrive and be successful. Especially across some of kind of our targeted, back please, thank you. Some of our targeted subgroups that you see here. I'm so super thrilled to say that we met all of our goals across the board. You see on the very right, 0.2, 0.6, 0.8, very, very low suspension numbers. Not only meeting our goal, also being lower than national average. And for a Title I school, I'm proud of all the work that every single person on this campus has done, because showing kids love and support takes a village, and it takes everybody there doing it. Our next goal, however, was much more of a barrier due to COVID. We were trying to get our absentee rate and our absentee rate down and our attendance up. COVID proved to be quite a barrier in this. Over everything else, we prioritize student health and safety, especially in the midst of COVID. If you had a stuffy nose, a runny nose, a cough, we wanted you to go home, do distance learning, be safe, and be able to come back the next day. So we took that as a priority over everything else. And it definitely shows in us not meeting these goals, but this is going to be a huge target for next year, working on this attendance rate, making sure that kids are healthy, in class, and ready to learn as often as we can. Thank you. I do want to affirm our nurses and our central office staff who, Jason Sample, I believe you were very much involved in this, who had to go to all the meetings, all the updates, figure out every COVID decision tree that seemed to change every 5 minutes. I just got the tertiary information and it made my head hurt. So everyone who was involved in this, Dr. Chris, you as well, thank you for doing all of that work. It was for the safety of our scholars, so I really, really appreciate it. One of the ways, this segues nicely, that we are going to combat that absenteeism is by continuing to build a stronger parent and community relationship. So we have a few pictures here of some of the things that we're doing. One of the things that I'm very proud of is we are finally getting a really good social media presence. And it's a huge affirmation to Miss Julie. The rightmost picture, she is the woman sitting on the chair smiling at the camera. She is running all of our social medias. So if you have not seen her face or name yet, like, subscribe, do whatever it is you do on the socials. We have some of our Instagram posts. Some other things we're doing is bi-weekly we have family yoga night, family yoga and mindfulness. You see in the picture in the middle. We have parents, we have kids, we have grandparents coming out, doing yoga, getting some mindfulness, kind of learning skills to deal with all of the woes of this world. And in addition to that, we feed everyone. So that's always a super nice thing. And then our last thing, Danny or Mr. Coonan kind of mentioned this at the beginning. We have food boxes every Friday. We get this huge pallet from the Sacramento Food Bank, and we get to be like Oprah and just start passing out free food. It is super fun. Parents are always very happy about it. So again, I want to affirm the central office for really helping kind of set up and continue this. Maisha Britt being one of the people who helped us coordinate all this. It is a huge help to the community, and some of the families who get it are just ecstatic and over the moon. Moving right along into social emotional learning, one thing that HLA wants to do is ensure that social emotional learning isn't just something that we do. Oh, we do SEL over here. We want to embed our social emotional learning into everything that we do. We want it to be a kind of a lens through which we see education and how we love our kids. So a few things that we do for SEL, that mindfulness that I mentioned earlier with the families. Every week, every class gets mindfulness. You see here on the bottom left, them doing some frog jumps. The person on the left who does not look like a child is Mr. Christian. I want to give him a shout out for being a wonderful mindfulness coach to the kids, as well as teachers and kind of some coaches across GCC. Some other things we are doing in the top, we have a stomp type hip hop dance routine. We asked for some student voice. They told us they want to dance. So we reached out to Studio T and we got hip hop stomp dance happening in our cafeteria. It is super fun to watch. The kids love it and they have a blast with it. And then on the top right, we have our wonderful HLA staff. Next year, that's going to be an even bigger RDP staff. I'm so excited. I'm going to have to back up the cameras. But with our restrictions lowering, we really want to bring back that human connection piece that we missed so dearly when we were in COVID. And so we're getting to see people, hug people, handshakes, and we're really rebuilding the connections. And I'm going to pass it back to Mr. Coonan.
All right. So when we can combine academic excellence, SEL, and equity and integrate those things together, we know that's when we get the biggest impact for our students. And we see that happening here at HLA. So I really want to highlight here in the student in front of the eagle. One of the things that we've really tried to focus on is student voice and choice, or what we call student agency in the IB. This student actually won a contest to decorate this wall. She designed this mural here, which we had professionally done. So her name is Osarateen. She is a wonderful fifth grader here at HLA. So we're very proud of her. It's just been great to get back to some regular school events, right? So you can see a middle school dance there on the right-hand side, and up top, that's our PFO supporting with snacks at our middle school dances. Coming up, we've got summer school, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more, but we are so excited to be thinking outside the box for summer school and serving more students than we have ever served before with summer school. All right, so let's talk about what's next, what's coming up in the HLA that we are excited about. These summer success sessions are going to be just so much fun. We really, under Dr. Marston's guidance, we really went outside of the box with our summer school planning. Rather than just doing kind of rote catch up on academics, we really want to make it engaging and just a special experience for students. So we've got things like drama, dance, board games, creative writing, percussion, all kinds of different things, different experiences that students wouldn't normally get the chance to participate in. For the first time ever, we are doing a Welcome to Kindergarten camp. Very excited about that. Mentioned it earlier, we're adding that TK, that transitional kindergarten class, and another second grade class. So we are growing, and we are so excited about collaborating more than ever with Futures High School. And of course, our IB progress, hoping for authorization with a visit next year for PYP at the elementary level. And then as was always the plan, MYP is kind of staggered behind them. So they will be coming up for a consultant visit next year. So we're staying busy with that and continuing to move forward. With that, just want to say thank you so much to our board. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everything you do for us. And we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, one and all, from HLA and board members. I'm open for your discussion, questions, comments. Anything from any of our board members at this point? Yes, Mark, Ms. Anderson. Did I see Mark's hand? Guess not.
Sorry,
Jack?
Lily.
Yes. Who do I see now? Jack. Okay, Jack. Yes, Mr. Turner.
Yes, I want to thank you for your report, and particularly on your emphasis on recovering the learning loss due to the COVID pandemic. and also the trying to turn around the absence statistics. I wasn't quite clear on that, on your statistics on the absences on the final goal. Was that the like 25% reduction or just, it wasn't clear, but again, just really a great report, and to your staff also. And also your cooperation and working with Futures High School. I think that collaboration is really, really important. And I look forward to seeing those students, going from the Higher Learning Academy on to Futures High School. So anyway, congratulations. Yeah, if you look at that chart, I think I can't quite see that side of it, but I think the Futures goal was, 20, currently it's 20. Is that the, I couldn't quite, is that the current absence rate for those groups?
Yes, so that 20% is what percentage of the population is hitting that chronic absenteeism. So more than, I believe, 92% or less than 92% attendance rates.
I think that's really a goal that you certainly are focused on, and I highly support that.
Thank you. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that.
And I had one that I wanted to, I wrote suspension rate great. That has been a focus throughout California and all over, because the suspension rate was really high, particularly around groups of students. And I see you have decreased yours greatly. So any words of how you did it?
I think getting everybody on campus to have that kind of same mission and vision of, if our kids are not on campus in that classroom, they're not going to thrive, they're not going to survive. So we need to do everything we can to keep them in their seats, keep them learning, keep pushing them to be their best. And when everybody on campus believes that, you find a way to deal with things without having to send a student home.
Very impressive. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from board members, staff? I want to thank you personally for your work, for the presentation. Really appreciate all the hard work. And I know it has been even more difficult with the pandemic and all of the things that you've gone through, but progress is being made. And I see the focus also is on the academic improvement. And so we will continue to watch that next year as you move through the year, and we hopefully will get better with meeting in person. So thank you. Any other comments? Madam Superintendent?
I do want to just affirm, as I started out with, it is not normal, our normal run of business, to have a change in the middle of a school year. Yeah. And that in the middle of a school year post-pandemic, if you will, or mid-pandemic. And I just really want to say that you couldn't ask for a more positive, solution-oriented, student-focused group than the three presenters you just heard, and really want to give them an affirmation for their continued focus on success for our students.
So thank you again. Thank you. Big round of applause for all of you. Big round of applause. Thank you. You got it. All right. And now we're moving to Futures High School Annual School Report. And Dr. Morrison, I think that's you bringing us back in again. So with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. We are going to introduce you. I'm sure you've met both Mr. Luevano and Miss Buda before, but again, Mr. Luevano is our campus principal and Miss Buda is the vice principal, and they have been working so hard, and I'm so proud of all the work that they've done. And they're going to show all of that off to you right now.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morrison. First off, I just want to say thank you, Dr. Peterson, and the rest of the cabinet for being here, as well as President Campbell and the board. Thank you guys for having us. We're looking forward to our presentation and showing you what we've been doing at Futures and how things are going. So again, you are familiar with what we are doing here today, but I wanted to start it off with good things. At the top of my list of good things is just our dream team that was formed at Rancho del Paso. It's been an awesome opportunity to work with Dr. Morrison and the admin at HLA, also with Crystal. We couldn't be more excited for what we're doing. Being able to hire a vice principal and curriculum coach now has been a tremendous addition to the team. I think it's something that future is needed, and we want to thank you for allowing that to happen. Our math team has been doing amazing work over the course of the year, which Crystal will talk about here in a minute, but being able to map out our math department, getting everything in order. Excuse me, our student participation, our Maker Fair. Our Maker Fair is something that we take pride in. We have a lot of things going on in the science department and our math department that allows our students to focus on different projects that they're interested in, and we were able to showcase that a lot this year. Excuse me, what you see in the pictures here was our second rally of the year. We try to cram everything in, but what you see there is Camila. She's a student of ours. She's a Colombian student of ours who takes very pride in her culture and heritage. But she was able to sing a Latin song. She did tremendous. The crowd was so enthused. They were so into it. And it was really awesome to see just the different cultures being showcased at our school. And then on the picture on the right there, you see one of our first of many field trips that we were able to fit into UC Davis. It was a great opportunity. Kids were excited about field trips. Everybody's trying to jump on board. I don't know how many requests I've got for field trips, but it seemed like everybody had a great idea for a field trip. But we wanted to focus on something local, something that's going to be career path-wise, and a lot of the visits to the colleges were right up the alley. I wanted to take a second though, and President Campbell, I'm not sure if you remember, you and I had a conversation at one of the last craft feeds we had. But the conversation was awesome because it allowed me to just talk to you, but then you actually giving me some feedback and letting me know, hey, you should be in administration. You should go into start talking about taking the classes and taking the coursework. And the day after, I had a conversation with Dr. Panishook, and I said about what you had said to me, and then the wheels started getting in motion. So I remember the conversation. I remember the words that you said. And now I just got enrolled and got accepted into the SCOE administrating classes. So I'll be doing those here coming in the fall. And a lot of it is just because of what you said. And so I just want to say thank you. And I'm very appreciative
Thank you.
of that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then now I'm going to pass it over to Crystal, who will be talking about our focus.
All right, thank you, Mr. Luvano. And I just want to echo what Mr. Luvano was saying about thanking the board. This is my 15th year with GCC, and I appreciate all of the support that you've given throughout the years. I'm really happy to be here today. All right, we're going to start by talking about some student achievement, which is part of the academic excellence of our school. And as Mr. Coonan mentioned, one of our primary tools for measuring growth is the new iReady program that we're using this year. And here you're looking at a chart that shows the growth of our students from the beginning of the year until the middle of the year. And the numbers on the x-axis represent the number of grade levels of growth of the students from the beginning until the middle of the year. So since we don't have the spring numbers fully tabulated yet, our goal here would be to have 0.5 growth or half a year's growth within half a school year. And as you can see, over 100 students are between 0 and 1. And we have a lot of students that actually hit that 1+ target halfway through the school year. So our students are making progress in math, and they're poised to make even more progress. Moving right along to reading, we can see a similar trend of our students that they have shown between 0 and 1 grade levels of growth. And I'd like to take a moment to thank Heather and Ashley for their help with iReady implementation, and just their continued support in so many different avenues of academic excellence. They are a huge support to our team. And also the data department, who's helping us tabulate all of our results. As you can see with our student here, we have a thumbs up. We're doing some great things with academic excellence. Of course, student achievement is not just reading and math. So I'd like to take a moment to highlight a few other areas. First off, our students are incredibly creative, and we're really fortunate and we're so happy to have their creative spirits on our campus. We had 100% of the students who took the AP Art exam, which is a portfolio. We had 100% of their portfolios accepted and that they passed and will now get college credit for their work in art. We've also had growth with the State Seal of Biliteracy, our Project Lead the Way engineering pathway completion. We have some growth with that. And I want to thank Director Elliott and Dr. McCormick for their help with our CTE pathways. They've really gotten in the weeds with us to help us to make some positive changes for the growth of our CTE and Project Lead the Way. And we have 52 students that are active in our college and career prep AVID program. And you will hear a lot more about AVID as we go through this presentation. Okay, so one of the things that helps with the academic excellence is the professional development. And so I'd like to speak a little bit about the Coherence professional development that we did. This year, our whole staff focus was around rigor and really asking those depth of knowledge questions to spur on students' thinking. But rigor is nothing if it's not paired with support. So we also focus on support, particularly for our English learners, as we have at different points had between 44 and 49% English learners. So we did some PD work around deconstructing prompts. Oh, I'm sorry. Was there a question? Okay, and AVID critical reading strategies. Okay, and these AVID strategies and our PD focuses are part of our coherent instructional framework. As you can see, we have 3 focuses at our school, which are also our LCAP focuses: academics, college and career, and climate and culture. And all of these help work together to drive us towards student success and to ensure student success. And on the second page of our instructional framework, we go into more detail according to these 3 areas. Also, I would like to especially affirm our math team and Wendy York-Davoud for all of her help with Coherence this year. We had a huge undertaking with the alignment of our standards. Wendy guided us through multiple sessions where we looked at the math standards from a variety of perspectives. You can see with the picture in the upper right-hand corner that we have all sorts of textbooks and frameworks and SBAC blueprints out. And we went through and aligned the standards for our classes from Integrated Math 1 all the way through pre-calculus, so that we can ensure that we have a coherent and complete pathway for students. Our math teachers also did quite a bit of professional learning with co-plan and co-teach cycles and lesson study. All right, now I'm going to hand it back over to Mr. Luvano to talk about diversity and equity.
So as we keep talking about AVID, AVID's our new program that we've been able to establish this year. And moving forward, what we've done is we've created a recruitment plan that would allow us to kind of give everybody at our school an opportunity to join AVID. We're moving forward with AVID as fast as we can, which we'll talk more about, again, as Crystal said. But our AVID is our program that we're very happy that the 2 teachers that we're going to have that are going to be a part of that are amazing teachers. They have great student engagement. They have great relationships with students. So they're 2 of the best that we can go about of having the classes with. And then also having to be able to do 2 inquiry cycles for our EL supports. So parent and community. What I can tell you is that Futures we have a great foundation for how we get the word out. We are able to use our Russian radio, where we have our parent liaison that goes and speaks once a month. on the radio, and she invites myself and other staff members to kind of talk about futures, talk about what we're doing, getting out to the Slavic community. Our social media is continuously updating. Miss Jana, she controls our Facebook and Twitter feeds, updating as often as she can every time we do something awesome. Miss Pro, who's our leadership teacher, who controls our Instagram for our Instagram account for leadership, letting the students know what's going on site, and also obviously our parents that are being able to follow that as well. One of the big things I'm excited about, though, is one of the first site council meetings I was attending was that we had a member of the PFO. And PFO's original plan in the very beginning was to be able to incorporate HLA and futures to work together and create a big PFOs for the site for Rancho Del Paso, which we can start calling it Rancho Del Paso now because they are 100% on board in providing support for futures and HLA, and then combining our parents together because we have some overlap parents, but we also have some at futures who don't overlap, but we want to bridge that gap together so that we do have a lot more parent engagement and involvement with our site. And then lastly, our parent newsletter. John has been able to create a parent newsletter that she sends out that we've been able to showcase a teacher once a month, letting everybody know that, hey, we got some amazing teachers and here's why, here's a little about them, here's what they're into, here's their message to their students, here's what they teach. Because we don't get this opportunity to do as much aside from back to school night and open house. So we're able to do that in a small version. Hopefully we're able to do more now, obviously that everything is lifted, and be able to create more community events for Rancho Del Paso and our parents.
All right, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our social emotional learning. And I loved what Mr. Munch mentioned about integrating SEL into our practices. And starting with the picture in the upper left-hand corner, Mr. Luvano mentioned that we have 2 AVID classes specifically, but one of the things I'm really proud about at our school is that we're taking the lessons and the skills from those classes, and we're using them school-wide. So every Friday, we have AVID lessons in every single classroom. And in the fall, we focused on organization of time and resources. And this really helps our students with their self-awareness and self-management, which can also help them make responsible decisions. I'd like to affirm Christian and his team for his continued help with our mindfulness program. And he was out at him or his team, they were out at our school site twice a week to help with a variety of different mindfulness activities. And then lastly, we had our very own Dr. Palmer do some training with us around embodied cognition, which really focuses on the importance of movement in the classroom and also helping students self-advocate for what they need. So as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, Ms. McCoy is demonstrating weightlifting. And one of the things we talked with students about is how do you learn best? Do you need to be standing right now? Do you need to take a break and lift some weights? Or how can you be aware of your own needs and to advocate for yourself for the best learning environment? All right, and as Mr. Kunin and Mr. Munch mentioned, our biggest impact is when we have SEL equity and academic excellence coming all together. And I hope you're not tired of hearing about AVID, because this is something we're very excited about. And we see the impact with this, that we have academic skills that we're helping the students with. We have SEL through collaboration and organization, and it is all wrapped up in equity and helping our students to reach their fullest potential. All right, I'm going to hand it back to Mr. Luvano to talk about some of the things we're excited about for the future.
Okay, so what's next? Well, I like to tell Crystal and the rest of our staff, futures is can we start as a blank canvas. We have a lot of things that we can do. Sky's the limit. Any opportunity that we're able to give to our students and to our staff and to our community, we're going to try to incorporate. But just a few things to talk about is our RDP, Rancho Del Paso collaboration. I think moving forward, I think we're going to do tremendous work as a site. I think that's been the dream for everybody here. So we're going to continue to keep working towards that. Our newcomer, building a newcomer orientation and support plan. We know that we know what's going on in the world. We know that we are bringing in a lot of students that are coming from Slavic countries, Russia, Ukraine, and anywhere in between. But we want to be able to bring them in with open arms, create a program for them that will help them kind of get their foot in the door, get their feet wet with school and here in the US, and be able to support in any way that we can. The rebuilding of Project Lead the Way. Our Project Lead the Way program has been tremendously amazing with the guidance of Kiara Brannigan, but Kiara has now moved into our curriculum coach role, which we are also very excited about. But moving forward, and thank you to Maury here for helping support teaching us about our CTE pathways and how we can transition Project Lead the Way in that direction, but also to incorporate and make it something more wild for our kids and more engaging for them as well. And then what I'm also very proud about is what the students have been talking about is more diverse options in our master schedule, different electives, the AVID expansion, be able to provide AP classes. I mean, kids, our students, they want harder classes. They want challenges. So we want to give it to them. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? And then our new electives, choir, our guitar is getting a lot of excitement, a lot of talk, and PEX. And in addition, I am a PE teacher at heart. I love sports. I'm sure a lot of you also love sports, but bringing wrestling, bringing golf, and then bringing cross country back. We've had it, but we're going to bring it back in the fall, and we're very excited about all of that. But so at this time, again, I just want to thank Dr. Peterson, Dr. McCormick, Jason, Omira. Also a shout out to Dr. Eric Crawford with the support that he was doing at Futures during transition times. And then, we're here. We're going to work hard for you guys. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the opportunities. And we're very excited about what's next. At this time, if there's any questions, we're here.
Right. We'll start off with board members who have comments or questions or any comments at this point. Board members. Do I see any hands? Okay, well, okay, Mr. Bach.
Yes, that was a great report and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad to see that you're doing some extra sports activities. Let me know what I can do to help you with the golf.
I put your name down for that.
We already got you.
Yes, when he said golf, I wrote Mr. Block. He's got to respond to that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you guys. And it's so great to see you and so great to hear the good things that are going on, and just, it does my heart good. And I know it does all of the other board members too. And the thing that I am most impressed with is the collaboration between HLA and Futures, working together, a seamless from K to 12, a seamless transition. And I know that our students will benefit greatly from the collaboration, our parents, students, and everyone. So just thank you all for the hard work that you're doing. And that was what I really wanted to highlight, the working together, building on from one grade level to the next and seeing how much we can accomplish working together. So thank each of you for your hard work and your dedication.
And can I say that again, as we said for HLA, it's so exciting to see us growing our own leaders from within.
Yes.
And, I remember very well Miss Buda when she was a teacher for us. I got to sit with her when she was honored at SCOE as Teacher of the Year, one of the few charter school teachers who was named as Teacher of the Year. And so now seeing her move from that to curriculum coach to vice principal, it's very exciting to watch the journey. The same with Mr. Lilavano. Yes. And of course, with Mr. Coonan and Mr. Munch as well. And I know that they are going to greatly be served by being mentored by Dr. Marston, who is an incredible leader there. But it's just, it is the great joy of leadership to watch other leaders grow and become and reach their potential within our organizations. I just want to affirm that.
And every chance I have when I talk to other groups, the WASP group or other entities coming in, I talk about how GCC grows its own. And that program started with our superintendent and how we really appreciate the structure within the organization that grows its own. So my applause to all of you for your wanting to do this and your commitment to doing it and looking at what you can do for students and parents. So thank you again. So anything else, board members? Seeing no hands or hearing none. Okay. Again, we want to thank you for being here with us this evening. It's not evening, it is midday, isn't it? It is not evening time. I'm thinking we're still at our regular time. But are we going to give them permission, Madam Superintendent, that they can drop off?
Certainly, if they are have something else to do, which a week full of promotions and graduations, I would say all of them have something else to do. So we appreciate their great service, and yeah, let's let them go do what must be done. So thank you, guys.
Thank you again for being with us. Your great work, your great presentations, for everything. Back to you, Dr. Morrison. Thank you, guys.
Great job. Great job today, guys.
Bye-bye. Okay, and so with that, we have another study session, GCC Board of Directors self-evaluation. Board members, you should have gotten your packet some time ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I would think. So you had a chance to look at your packet, to go through it and see if there were any concerns. So before I mention a couple, first, I want to thank you, each of the board members. All board members filled out the survey and got it back in. So I'll ask you now if there are comments that you would like to make about the board evaluation before we kind of look at a couple of areas. Anyone? Anyone? Is Mark still with us?
I am with you, Lily, and unfortunately my video is all messed up here, so I don't know what's going on with my Zoom. I can't get it to reverse, so I apologize. Okay. I've followed all the presentations, I'm listening, but I can't get the video to work.
Okay. Any comments, Mr. Turner, Mr. Block, Mr. Anderson, on the board evaluation? Jack?
No, I have no comments.
Mr. Block? Nothing? Well, the evaluation proved about the same as it was last time. Couple of comments stated that we're very pleased with what we as a board are doing. We had some 5s. And there were a couple of areas that were a little lower than the others. And one particularly is the board communications, the goals and expectations for the board and organization with the community, question number 15. And that got a 4.60. Most of the areas between 4.80 and 4.60 and 5.0. I'm still waiting to see if there were any comments at all, anything that we need to improve upon as you looked through the survey. No comments, nothing. All right. This was the area that was lowest, 4.20. The board structure provides adequate and appropriate contact, with administration and staff. And we had one person that rated a 3, 2 people that rated a 4, and 2 people that rated a 5. Any comments from anyone on that area? The board structure provides adequate and appropriate contact with administration and staff. Anything on that one? No? Boyd, you're mighty quiet. Okay. Well, here is one. Staff supports before, during, and after board meeting is effective. We had a 1 on that and a 3, a 1 on a 4, and a 3 and a 5. And that was a 4.40. Any comments on that one? Well, I guess we're all satisfied. So I can't get any comments, so I guess we will assume that we are okay with what we're doing. Yes, Mr. Block. Thank you.
None of us is perfect, so that's why.
You say none of us are perfect, none of the board members?
Yes, none of us is perfect, so that's why we don't have anything else to say. You know, we can all have some flaws sometime.
Okay.
We all make little things, so that's what I see.
All right. Well, if you do have comments or if you have questions and you want to talk privately to cabinet or to me, please let me know and we will continue with it. But as a whole, the board feels really good about what we're doing. Rating between a 4.80 and a 5. So, and there were a couple of comments. I would like to share those with you. And the first one is, I think the board serves the community well. Another one is an excellent board that supports an outstanding charter organization. And the last one is, it is a pleasure to be a member of this board. The members come to meetings prepared and ready to take care of business. It is a strong organization. So those were the the comments that were given. So I think we're doing okay. Yes, Jack.
Yes, I think I want to second what Harry said. I think if we pat ourselves too much on the back, we may be in trouble. I agree with the comments. It's an excellent board, and we have just these reports, the ones last week on the end of the year updates, demonstrate really how strong Gateway Community Charters has become. And so Lily, I know you think there probably need more discussion on this, but I think really we're doing a fine job, and your leadership. Let me say that. I don't know, there wasn't a place on there, but I think you have played a significant role in leading the board, and certainly the role as the board president for the Gateway Community Charters.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. And I can say, it is my pleasure. I've said it before and I continue to say it, to work with each of you. You come prepared and ready to do the job that we're supposed to do. And you have heard it tonight. The staff saying thank you. If it were not for the board, they would not be able to do the job that they're doing. So again, it is a volunteer job and you give your service and your time. So I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And Lily, I concur with what both Jack and Harry said, and thank you very much for doing an outstanding job as a leader of the board.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. All right. So if there's nothing else on that, we will get ready to move into our consent agenda items. And we have several, and for the sake of those who don't have I will read them. Consent agenda. Adoption of the GCC Board Retreat Meeting Minutes 5/10/2022. Personnel Consent Agenda. Purchases over $30,000. Overnight Field Trip Futures High School. And that's leadership, Summer Leadership Camp, CADA. And also the revised job description for speech and language pathologists. And number 6, acceptance of community school program, CSP grants. Those are the 6 consent agenda items, and I will first entertain a motion. Yes, Mr. Turner.
I move approval.
All right. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Block, I believe, second, or was it Mark?
It was me. Yeah.
It was Mark, okay,
Yeah.
second. All right. Any discussion? Any discussion on any of the items? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call. Mr. Anderson, Mark Anderson,
Yes.
Harry
Yes.
Block,
Yes.
Jack Turner,
Yes.
Lily Campbell, yes, absent Bruce Mandrick. So the consent agenda items pass unanimously. And now we are down to facilities. Charter School Facilities Program application. Superintendent staff recommend the board approve the submission of the Charter School Facilities Program application or applications. Would someone like to speak to that before a motion is made?
Mr. Sample can address this.
Okay, Mr. Sample.
Okay, good afternoon, Madam President, members of the board. This is an application for the Charter School Facilities Grant Program. We are no stranger to this program in that we also applied for these funds some years back for Futures High School and Higher Learning. And so we now have the opportunity to apply for the funds for the district's facility in which Community Outreach Academy Middle School is on. So we'll be submitting 4 applications, two for new construction and 2 for rehabilitation or modernization. And this is just one of the steps of the application process, and we'll continue to keep the board updated as we go along the process.
Okay, and this is a resolution. I'll entertain a motion first and then we'll go into discussions. Yes, Mr. Turner.
I move approval.
Move approval, Mr. Turner. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved approval and a second by Mr. Block. Now, is there other discussions? Yes, Jack.
Jason, a question. It took literally years to get the funding from the state for Rancho del Paso. What's the timeline likely to be on this particular purchase?
So, Mr. Turner, at this time, we don't have a definite timeline. We know that the application process closes early June, and we anticipate hearing more from OPSC as we continue to move through the financial soundness part of it. And we definitely will be updating the board along the way as we get closer to that. It is definitely Dr. Peterson's and my hope that this is not a 13-year journey, and we don't anticipate that.
Yes, Jack.
I guess related to that is I think then the properties that we're looking at purchasing, they probably want to move the sale of those properties sooner than later. I certainly think as soon as you find out what the timeline likely is, and maybe we can even get a chance. I have not visited one of the sites I think we're looking at purchasing. I certainly know the COA middle school site, but I don't know the other site very well. But anyway, no, I support it. And I think it's just a matter of if the funding comes in from the state, and then also looking at the facilities to make sure we do our due diligence on what has to be done in those facilities to make them appropriate for our students to attend or to continue to attend as with COA.
And I would just say, to underscore what you've said, by approving this today, we are not saying that we are going into the agreement to purchase at this time. We're saying that you are approving us to go forward to apply for the funding. And before we make any final decisions, Jack, we will be doing exactly what you suggested in terms of due diligence.
Okay. No other comments or questions? I will call for the vote, and this is a resolution, so it is a voice vote. Mr. Mark Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Harry Block?
Yes.
Bruce Mandrick absent. Mr. Jack Turner?
Yes.
And Lily Campbell, yes. So the resolution has been passed on facilities, item number 10. All right, and now we are down, my fellow board members, to board comments. Yes, Jack.
Really appreciated the presentations by the Futures and Higher Learning Academy, and just really reminds me of how strong our programs are and really how excellent the staff is. And again, I hope if some of them remained on the Zoom presentation, I just want to say thanks again. And I know that it's really hard in a short presentation to talk about all the hard work you've done over the year in relation to certainly the challenges with COVID-19.
Thank you, Jack, for those comments. I really appreciate it.
Lily?
Yes.
Yeah, I also wanted to express the synergism that is seen between those two schools working together. It's just amazing. A lot of good collaboration, a lot of huge successes. And so I also want to applaud the entire staff for doing the great yeoman's work that they've done.
Thank you, Mark. And I want to, okay, Harry, then I'll make my phone.
Oh, okay. I want to say, yes, I agree. I'm glad to see HLA and Future working together the way this is going. It's been great. And I also want to say I was by the office there last week. I did my little video, went to the doctor, got a big elbow that I fell.
I heard that.
And I just happened to stop in and meet some of the new staff. And that was great to see people that we've been, admiring, everyone else that was there. And so it was great. And we have some stuff in common with some of them. We know some of the same people.
Great. And I want to especially to Director Maury Elliott, who is still here. But Maury, on the report, I heard several times, and Maury helped us to understand CT, So thank you for your support. Thank you for your work as director in helping the schools understand and do pathworks and pathways and what have you. So I really want to give my acclamation to you and to thank you for your hard work, and so glad you are Director Maury Elliott. So thank you.
Thank you, President Campbell. I appreciate it.
Along with everyone else, it has been an interesting year for most of us, to say the least. And we are missing a lot of the activities in person, but we hope next year will be a better year, that we will be able to visit with you and to share in person. So we do want to thank Cabinet. We want to thank staff. Yes, Jackie, Harry, you had something else.
Yeah, I was going to say the coffee shop is doing well over at the firehouse too. I forgot. I go by there about every Friday. I see the kids out there working hard. So that's
and we haven't seen it. So we'll get a chance. We'll get a chance. Ms. O'Meara, thank you for being with us today, and all of you. And the announcement of the next board meeting will be June the 7th at 4:45. And we do have another special one coming up, I think. I'm not sure. But the next board meeting will be June 7th, 2022 at 4:45. Is there anything else, cabinet, staff, good for the good of the organization? Hearing none, seeing none. Then I guess I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Mr. Turner.
I move we adjourn. And Lily, it's nice to have you back.
It's good to be back, and I hope it wasn't too disjointed today with me. I'll share all of this one of these days. Anyway.
Second.
It has been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.